Well, good nerds, there was a request to make this particular flying platform and a guide, well, explaining what it actually does and how stuff is actually done. This is like done with two flying machines because this is a very simple setup which we can use to fire one of the segments first, so it moves that. Then we have space for the second segment so it can move, and we basically have this uh, double flying machine setup which moves back and forth. Like in going from right to left, we have the honey extension being fired first. Now to go from left to right, we are going to have slime section firing first. That is simply because if you try to pull honey and slime at the same time or push them at the same time, that's not going to happen because the slime section is going to see that honey is in front of it, and it's going to try to attempt to push it. But as it is already at piston pushing limit, it is not able to push this honey section, thus it's not going to move. That is why a 2 game tick delay is introduced. Here the honey section fires first, then the slime section fires, and in here the slime section is going to fire first, and then the honey section is going to fire after 2 game tick delay. So this is kind of important. And as for the flying machine, I can show you how it is made. So this is the basic of this flying machine, that we have slime arrangement going like this. We have sticky piston here, sticky piston here. And now to actually move it, it depends on the position of observer. So you notice how there is a return station with cyan concrete made here. This is going to grab this piston and move it here, which will change its direction of flight. So for the time being, we have observer like this. So this observer is going to power this sticky piston. So it is in the grabbing mode, and as you can see, now if we do the same thing but here, this observer is going to power this sticky piston, which is going to push this sticky piston. And as sticky pistons are only sticky when they're retracting, this sticky piston is essentially going to work like a block, regular block, which this sticky piston can use to push. So we basically have a two-way flying machine, which depending where the position of observer is, it can move either forward or either backwards. So in this case, it's going from right to left. And to change its direction, we just simply place sticky piston here, sticky piston here. We are first going to grab this sticky piston, and then we're going to grab this sticky piston, this observer, so it will fire automatically and start moving in that direction. So this is the very simple concept of the flying machine design being used here. I discovered it accidentally, there is a video about it, but let's not bother with that. Now this is a 2 extension based setup. It is 2 extension because we have a extension merged here with the flying machine, and we have a simple extension being used to move this platform. So what I mean by that is, this is all cool and all, but on its own it's not going to like push the platform. To push the platform, we also require similar setup of sticky pistons. So when the observer is here, it is going to grab the whatever it is in front of it, and when the observer is going to move from here, it's going to be here. Then sticky piston is going to push this sticky piston, which is essentially going to do the pushing movement. So let's also make this setup here so we can actually reset it. So we remove the observer, as you saw it pushed, and if you move the observer again, now we have a setup with flying machine and extension merged into it that is going to push while the flying machine is moving forward. This pushing thing is important here because in this side, on the right side, we are first going to grab this, so it's going to push the platforms out, and only then we're going to grab the observer here so it can actually start moving. This is very important for the right side because we're pushing the platform in front of the flying machine. The same is not done here, for example, because the platform is behind the flying machine, so when the flying machine is going to move, then it's going to grab the platform alongside it. That is why we don't have that 6 game tick delay like we have here. Now let's also continue to make that. So we have this flying machine setup with extension. Now we require a simple extension to actually have our platform on top of it. So before this reaches piston pushing limit, we have to count from this sticky piston. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and and then we place our platform on top of it, like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this piston is already at piston pushing limit. If there's going to be one extra block, it is no longer capable of pushing. But if there is no block there, it is capable of pushing that. That is important. Now, as the 3x3 platform was the requirement for it, we already are doing 5 blocks here. We need to do 4 more blocks like that, and that is done with this exact same thing mirrored on its left side but with slime. So let's also do that. Then we need the flying machine. Well, flying machine doesn't matter if it's made out of honey or slime. Just it is important here that the platform has slime and honey alternating. It is done that way so it go around the piston pushing limit. That is the only time where it is required for them to be different. For the flying machines itself, you can have it out of honey, it really doesn't matter. Because these things are not interacting with each other, them being of same block is not going to bother them. So we have that, we have that. Those need to be in the different direction, and then their observers and an observer here and observer here. Now to reset this, we also require our sticky pistons, very similar to that. It's basically mirrored. Here for the tutorial I'm using barrier blocks, so it's like not bothering where the components are. In actual machine, in the actual machine, any immovable block is being used. In this case, obsidian is being used. You can use crying obsidian, or you can use external piston, that will also work. Here, this observer and this obsidian is placed where this flying machine and this extension is going to run into. Why this extension in particular? Well, this extension is also in the path of slime extension, so it is also not only going to stop by itself, it's also going to stop the slime one. And as the honey is going to be stopped here, then this flying machine is going to be stopped. And the same thing with slime, when it's going to be stopped, this second flying machine will be stopped as well. But to stop them here, we are using 2 obsidian. These are at the level of the flying machine, as you can see. That is done differently because that platform is being pulled when it is coming back, not pushed. Because it is being pushed, we can stop everything with just 1 obsidian, and they require to stop both of the flying machines differently. So let's also send it. I'll first explain that return station, then I'll explain that return station. This return station does not have safety like that one, mainly because I didn't do it yesterday when I made it. Safety in the sense that this requires a pulse, which is sent either by this observer or you send it to the trapdoor. The other way of doing it is you can just have a sticky piston, like a so, and an observer like this. Now if you send power to the sticky piston, all of these are going to power up and you can send the flying machine. This is also a rising edge monostable circuit, this entire thing. So basically you send a 2 game tick pulse here and it is going to do everything that it requires to do. It is as simple as line of rest and dust running into sticky pistons. Here we are introducing 2 game tick delay because we want the slime part of the flying machine to move first. So it is 2 game tick ahead of the honey structure, so it can actually move and not stop the honey structure. That is the reason why there is a repeater here, otherwise it is exactly the same on the both sides. If you don't want to bother with that, what you can also do is we have observer like this, then you need some kind of updating thing. I tend to use trapdoors because you can throw, how did that miss? Because you can throw wind burst, wind charges onto it. You can also do is like send power to this trapdoor. So if we have like this, we should be there. If it is like this, then you can send power to this line. Apparently, the trapdoors have like state, so when it is on it is always that like that, and it is off it is always like that. So you have to kind of keep in mind where you left the trapdoor. So this can also work. You send power to the trapdoor and it's going to flick and it's going to return the flying machine. Let's remove the flying machine from there and look at the return station over here. It's a bit different. Here again, observer trapdoor setup, you can do the same thing, but here we have 6 game tick repeater. This is done for some technical reasons I'm not going to explain. Well, I'm going to explain. If we don't have 6 game tick repeater here, this sticky piston observer setup is going to be a C-tick generator, and you wouldn't want a C-tick generator if you're going to send power from here to repeater, because repeater is a P-tick component. It's not going to receive power by a C-tick generator. That is a technical explanation. Return station is also very simple. We have 6 game tick repeater for the technical reason I explained, and then again we introduce 2 game tick delay. Here we have a sticky piston with observer, as you see. This also introduces safety in the design, that you can have a constant power and this thing is still going to work, or you can send a pulse and this will still work. That happens because this is technically a rising edge monostable, and here it is also a rising edge monostable, that just this one activates 2 game tick behind it. Other thing about the return station is now the explanation why we have 6 game tick repeater here. It is so we first move this observer here, so this extension is going to fire and move the platform in front of the flying machine, because in its current state it is too heavy. It is too heavy to be moved, so we first remove the platform like that, and then we can move the flying machine. That is the reason why we have 6 game tick delay here. Let's bring the flying machine back and see that happening. As you saw, and that is a pretty good explanation, I would say.